What's up guys, I'm KBHD here with possibly the most requested video of all of 2018 so far. Shout out to Linus from Linus Tech Tips because this is his phone actually, so thanks for passing it along, man. This is the Oppo Find X. So this is actually the hottest phone on the planet right now, purely thanks to its really unique design. Oppo actually has a history of doing kind of insane things with flagship phones, but they don't do them very often. They specialize in the mid-range. But you might remember way back in the day, a couple years ago, I made a video about the Oppo Find 5, the first ever 1080p smartphone. That was a huge deal, and also the Find 7. So they do have a little history with actually doing impressive flagship stuff. So now here in 2018, in this world with lots of notches and compromise, in walks the Oppo Find X. The specs, even though they're excellent, are actually probably the most boring part of this phone. So Snapdragon 845, Adreno 630, 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, a 3730 milliamp hour battery, Bluetooth 5.0, dual SIM cards. It's a flagship, no doubt. What we're here for is the design, because that's the reason this phone is so hot right now, is the industrial design. On the surface, it looks very modern. Obviously not a whole lot of bezel anywhere. That's the main focus in 2018. Full screen, rounded corners all the way across the front of the phone. But if you look around even more, there's actually elegant touches everywhere. The shape is just a little unorthodox, kind of tapered on the sides, but gives way to this intense color design. There's a blue and a purple version actually. This is the purple, which is called Bordeaux Red for some reason. And it has this shimmer just on the outsides of the phone, while the middle stays dark mirror finish. It seems like the 28 thing to do also, to have a glass back but no wireless charging. That's also the case for this phone, but some awesome design to distract you from that. So the huge screen up front obviously looks super cool, but even around that screen, they've done some things that are really impressive and unique. There's a little earpiece up here in the top. They actually got a real speaker up there instead of using an under glass solution. The whole phone is a little on the thick side at 9mm, but I'm totally fine with this, and for me it's more about the solid weight. Like, this phone really feels dense in the hand with all that glass. There's no headphone jack at the bottom, or at all sadly, but it has this unique sort of concave shape with the USB-C port, the speaker, and the dual SIM card tray. And man, there's just a lot of little unique touches like that. The top of the phone also has this shape of like a liquid glass melting into itself, and there's no rear-facing or front-facing camera at all until you open the top. The entire top of this phone is motorized for both the rear-facing and front-facing camera sensors. Okay, so to achieve this 93.8% screen-to-body ratio in 2018, you gotta make some sacrifices. So with this phone, there is no fingerprint reader anywhere. They didn't do the under glass one. There's no fingerprint anywhere on this phone. And then of course, to do the front-facing camera, they did, I think, one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a smartphone, which is raise the whole thing via a motor. And it's different from the Next. The Next feels like a hack to just get a front-facing camera in the phone somehow. This feels like an integrated part of a thoughtful design. But now though, you gotta think about, again, motorized moving pieces in smartphones like this are still a tough ask. They eventually will fail, and they also make it harder for things like sealing and make it easier to break. And this is the whole top of the phone popping up, so I'm pretty sure you can forget about waterproofing right off the bat. And then when you have this much surface moving, you think about maybe if one grain of sand gets in there, that could be a problem too. It's easier than you think. Obviously, Oppo trusts this a lot though, because as you can see, they have the rear camera, which you use all the time, and the front camera, and a suite of other sensors, including a dot projector and an infrared sensor, all up here because this also does facial recognition. That's right, so with no fingerprint reader anywhere on this phone, like the iPhone, they built what you might call a Face ID clone in those front-facing sensors in the motorized piece. Here's the thing though, it's actually pretty fast. If you check that speed, it's possibly even faster than Face ID. You register your face in like 3 seconds flat, and then it's just look at the phone to unlock. It's actually pretty cool. It just pops up, looks at your face real quick, and then goes back down all in about half a second. I'm impressed, not gonna lie. I don't know if it's as secure as Face ID. I honestly kind of doubt it, but if it's not getting fooled easily or tricked by photos, then it's impressive to me out the box. This thing is crazy, man. And you also have to consider, when you have the back-facing camera, which you use all the time, and the front-facing camera, and the face unlock in that motorized piece, that means you're gonna use this every time you open your phone, and hundreds more times during the day. So that's something to think about. I don't know how long this motor is rated to last, but I'd be interested to see how long it does. Also, I tried a couple other things just out of curiosity. With this motor, if you push down hard enough, the camera just closes. The motor's just decide it should be closing and it retracts completely. Probably pretty smart, actually. And then if you put enough resistance on the top while opening the camera and it's trying to launch by itself, it'll pause, wait a second, and then it'll try again, and then just keep holding it and it'll just keep trying over and over. It's not really going to grind its gears trying to go against resistance, so it has a couple fail-safes built in. But I also found that I can literally pull the top of the phone open. So you can imagine it's not the most durable mechanism in the world. If a grain of sand gets in there, like I said, that's probably bad news for more of the internal parts. And that just kind of happens sometimes, more than I wish it did. So at the end of the day, I love this, actually. I love what we're getting in this genuinely interesting, creative design in a smartphone. Just when we thought it might have been getting kind of boring with everyone doing a notch and dual cameras and the whole predictable dance, this thing comes in from left field. A new player has arrived. But I'm curious what you think. If this phone came to your region, it's going to be very expensive, but could you rock this as a daily driver? I feel like I could throw a Nova launcher on here, give the camera a shot, and it might actually stay in my pocket. But let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Either way, thanks for watching. Talk to you in the next one. Peace.